Kris Jenner posted a photo of herself, and people thought it was AI generated. Jenna Ortega showed up at a premiere, and the internet accused her of removing parts of her face. Mickey Rourke went from one of the most handsome men in Hollywood to someone his own co-stars couldn't identify. These are not isolated cases. From medical emergencies to botched surgeries to weight loss so extreme that family members did not recognize who was standing in front of them. Certain celebrities have altered their appearance to such a degree that placing their old photos next to their current ones produces what looks like two completely separate human beings. So let's get into it. The celebs you would not recognize. In May 2025, Kris Jenner took to Instagram and shared a solo photo of herself, wearing a maroon suit, button-up shirt, and tie, showing off an exceptionally smooth complexion and a visibly tightened visage. The photo went viral for one reason. The woman in the picture did not look like Kris Jenner. The internet collectively did a double take. Commenters joked that it was a deep fake, a face swap filter, or someone else's head pasted onto her body. But no, this was Kris. And she had something to say about it. The expertly applied makeup and professional lighting certainly didn't help quell the suspicions, and the change was so drastic that cosmetic surgeons publicly weighed in. Texas-based plastic surgeon Dr. Gary Lawton told Financial Express that Kris's transformation was anatomically impossible to achieve, suspecting AI was the true cause of the look. Cosmetic surgery can produce dramatic results, but the perfection, the anatomic symmetry, the flawless smooth skin is just going to create more unrealistic expectations in patients, Lawton said. In other words, even a doctor who makes a living reshaping human faces was calling foul on this one. But then came the receipts. Unaltered photos of Kris in Paris in May 2025 still showed the matriarch with a younger-looking face, which Kris's representative confirmed was done by Dr. Stephen Levine, a plastic surgeon in New York City. Cosmetic surgeon Dr. Patrick Davis revealed to Fox News that the procedure appeared to be a deep, plain facelift, explaining that it involves a wider dissection under the structural elements of the face, which then allows the surgeon to reset a greater proportion of facial tissues. This was not Kris Jenner's first rodeo. In 2023, Kris Jenner's new look stirred up some ruthless comments from fans. While she took it in stride, she underwent another significant facial transformation in 2025. And when the controversy reached its peak, the Kardashian-Jenner matriarch did something unusual. She addressed it head-on. After Kris's new appearance went viral, she detailed the work she'd had done during a chat with Vogue Arabia. She stated, "I had a facelift about 15 years ago. So it was time for a refresh. I decided to do this facelift because I want to be the best version of myself, and that makes me happy." Her transparency did not end there. She went further, making a philosophical case for her decision. "Just because you get older, it doesn't mean you should give up on yourself," she told the publication. She continued, "If you feel comfortable in your skin and you want to age gracefully, meaning you don't want to do anything, then don't do anything. But for me, this is aging gracefully. It's my version." Now, here's the thing. Whether you agree with Kris or not, this particular transformation sits inside a much larger trend. Since the early 2000s, the number of cosmetic procedures performed in the US has doubled. A 2024 study published in the Journal of Clinical and Aesthetic Dermatology found that social media has contributed to this rise in plastic surgery. Additionally, the affordability of minimally invasive yet still transformative procedures like fillers and Botox makes alterations more accessible for the average person. The constant scrutiny of the public and their financial means makes celebrities even more likely to invest in procedures to maintain a youthful appearance. Kris Jenner may be the poster child for that reality in 2025, but she is far from alone. If Kris Jenner's transformation was planned and strategic, Jenna Ortega's apparent transformation was a firestorm that blindsided the internet. When Jenna Ortega attended the premiere of Wednesday Season 2, her new look made fans wonder whether she had undergone buccal fat removal surgery to slim her face. It started in late July 2025. The cast of Wednesday toured to Paris and London to premiere Wednesday Season 2. She appeared on the red carpet, and fans flooded social media with comments, pointing out how she had more defined cheekbones and a slimmer face. What had once been soft, youthful features now appeared angular, sculpted, and, to many, hollow. The speculation was immediate and loud. Google Trends revealed a jaw-dropping 1,500% spike in searches for Jenna Ortega buccal fat. with many speculating the actress may have gone under the knife. A tweet featuring a comparison between older photos of Ortega and her current appearance at the Paris premiere went massively viral, amassing close to 51 million views. The online discourse became vicious, splitting into factions with the ferocity of a political debate. On one side stood the critics. One user wrote, "Whoever created buccal fat removal should be arrested and tried for crimes against humanity. It ruins every woman's natural face and makes them look ghoulish." Others were less dramatic but equally disturbed. One shocked netizen penned, "She looks like a skinwalker impersonating Jenna Ortega." Some compared her appearance to Jim Carrey's character in The Mask or Johnny Depp in Edward Scissorhands. On the other side were defenders. Other fans felt the rumors were baseless and commented, "Her facial composition literally looks the same. Her cheeks aren't any more sunken in. The only illusions are highlight and contour, including her bleached brows. That's it." Cosmetic experts were split as well. Dr. Gezem noted a change in Jenna's jawline but attributed it to something other than cosmetic work, explaining, "Jenna has always had a strong jawline, no doubt about it, but currently it looks even more pronounced, especially around the back corners. This is similar to the kind of bulk you see when the masseter muscle is overactive due to teeth grinding." She explained that bruxism, or teeth grinding, can be a subconscious habit linked to stress and anxiety, and exercises the masseter muscle, making it grow larger. What made the discourse around Jenna Ortega especially charged was the broader context it represented. The uproar reflected a larger trend in Hollywood, where a growing number of young actresses, including Anya Taylor-Joy and Millie Bobby Brown, are attracting attention because of their highly sculpted appearances. Before and after shots of Miley Cyrus and Anya Taylor-Joy also circulated, with viewers pointing to similar hollowness in their cheeks. Even Erin Moriarty from The Boys was dragged into the conversation. Moriarty's natural looks were once a perfect fit for her character Starlight, who represents a wide-eyed young woman who dreams of becoming a star, only to end up being corrupted and used by the industry. For many fans, Moriarty's new looks caused a disconnect between what her character represented and destroyed her girl-next-door appeal. Jenna herself has never confirmed undergoing any cosmetic procedures. In the absence of any statement from her, all discussions remain speculative. It is important to remember the immense pressure young stars face in Hollywood regarding their appearance. The constant comparison and commentary on social media can create an environment where natural changes are often misinterpreted as surgical ones. But whether the change was surgery, makeup, maturation, or all three, the result was the same: one red carpet appearance, and the Jenna Ortega the world met in Wednesday Season 1 was suddenly a stranger. If there is one celebrity transformation story that reads like a Shakespearean tragedy, it belongs to Mickey Rourke. In the 1980s, Mickey Rourke was celebrated as a Hollywood heartthrob. His handsome looks made him a leading man, with fans swayed by his charisma and natural charm. Films like 9½ Weeks, Angel Heart, and Barfly cemented him as one of the most magnetic screen presences of his generation. He did not just act in those films, he smoldered. The camera loved him in a way that defined an era. And then he walked away from all of it. In 1991, Rourke made a life-changing decision. With the feeling of self-destructing and lacking respect for himself as an actor, he felt compelled to return to boxing, a sport that was one of his first loves earlier in his life. He felt calm, and boxing became a sort of protection for him, an escape from the pressures of the acting world. This was not some vanity project. Rourke said he had to go back to boxing because he was self-destructing and had no respect for himself as an actor. He was undefeated in 8 fights, with 6 wins, 4 by knockout, and 2 draws. He fought internationally in countries including Spain, Japan, and Germany. But the ring exacted a price that no paycheck or victory could cover. During his boxing career, Rourke suffered a number of injuries, including a broken nose, toe, and ribs, a split tongue, and a compressed cheekbone. He also suffered from short-term memory loss. He revealed, "I had my nose broken twice. I had 5 operations on my nose and 1 on a smashed cheekbone. He had to take cartilage from his ear to rebuild his nose. The surgeries were supposed to fix him. They didn't." In 2009, Rourke revealed that his changing looks resulted from botched facial surgery. He admitted most of it was to correct the damage caused by boxing, but I chose the wrong surgeon to put my face back together. That single admission, "I went to the wrong guy to put my face back together," encapsulates one of the most devastating celebrity transformations in modern history. Throughout the years, Mickey Rourke underwent several cosmetic procedures, including rhinoplasty, a reconstructive nose job to correct damage sustained during his boxing career, multiple facelifts to address sagging skin, Botox injections to minimize wrinkles, and cheek implants to enhance his facial structure. Each procedure was designed to undo the damage of the previous one, or the damage of the ring, or both. The result was a cascading series of interventions that left him looking less like the man from 9.5 weeks, and more like a cautionary tale. His ex-wife, Deborah Foyer, even provided a window into the mindset behind some of the procedures. She told The Mirror, "He'll kill me for saying this, but he wanted the part in one film so badly that he got cheek implants." She continued, "He told me he was swollen because he'd had his molar teeth removed." Despite all of it, Rourke's talent never disappeared. Although some procedures ended up botched and resulted in Rourke looking completely unrecognizable from his charming younger self, the actor made a resounding comeback to acting with 2005's Sin City and 2008's The Wrestler, proving that even though he had undergone a physical transformation, his acting prowess remained the same. That Oscar-nominated performance in The Wrestler was more than a career revival. It was art imitating life in the most painful and honest way possible. Even as recently as 2017, Rourke was still under the knife. He captioned an Instagram image with the words, "Now I'm pretty again. One more to go," while wearing bandages and pointing out his latest surgical procedure. In that one sentence, equal parts humor and heartbreak, is the entire arc of a man who chased perfection, lost it, and keeps reaching for it anyway. Not every transformation that makes someone unrecognizable is about what was added to the face. Sometimes it's about what was removed from the body. All of it. Actor Ethan Suplee was 24 years old in 2001. When he found himself standing on a freight scale at a shipping center, it was a humiliating detour before checking into a treatment center for drug and alcohol addiction. The facility required his weight for intake, but they didn't have a scale for patients his size. "I was utterly horrified," Suplee recalled, and was suffering from congestive heart failure. Let that number settle. 536 pounds. Ethan Suplee was known for his roles in cult classic films like Remember the Titans, American History X, and My Name is Earl. Often cast as the big guy, a label he carried both on-screen and off. But behind his comedic charm and dramatic depth was a man engaged in a battle few could fully see. The struggle began early. Suplee's weight gain began early in life. By age 5, he was already significantly overweight, a result of well-meaning but misinformed food restrictions, which triggered cycles of binge eating. Weighing over 500 pounds, everyday tasks were struggles. Putting on shoes, going for a walk, sitting down. He avoided rushing to get somewhere because rushing would exhaust him and plague the rest of his day. He had to wear multiple shirts and always brought a washcloth to wipe away sweat. He had to sleep sitting up. The turning point came not from Hollywood, not from a doctor, but from love. Meeting his now wife Brandy Lewis in the early 2000s was a major catalyst. "I became, for the first time in my life, kind of interested in the future and having experiences with her, like spending a day walking around a museum or going on a trip or hiking that I just wasn't physically able to do." The journey that followed was neither quick nor smooth. For years, he went on different diets that heavily restricted food options. He also completed extreme amounts of exercise, which often led to injuries, which led to weight gain while he could not exercise. While eliminating carbohydrates and other food items would lead to weight loss, he repeatedly ran into walls where he could no longer lose weight. He found himself reducing food intake to continue the weight loss. He actually got down to 200 pounds at one point and was thin, but he wasn't happy. Everything changed when he discovered a different philosophy. He found a TEDx talk with Mike Israetel that discussed calories in and calories out and the importance of protein. He stopped demonizing entire food groups and started eating in a way that was sustainable. He now follows a high-protein, moderate-carb, low-fat plan that allows for rice, potatoes, and pasta, although he limits himself to 1 cup. "I don't want to call it a diet," Suplee explained. "I'm just eating like a normal person." He also lifts weights 6 times a week for an hour a day, sometimes adding cardio, but only for 20 minutes at a time. Between 2002 and 2020, Suplee shed approximately 90 kilograms, 200 pounds, through a combination of cycling and weight training. Not as part of a short-term challenge, but as a long-term commitment. He did not have weight loss surgery. However, after losing weight, he underwent 2 major surgical procedures to remove excess skin, calling the surgeries incredibly brutal but essential, as his skin was unable to shrink back. After being stretched such an enormous amount, by 2020, Ethan Suplee had completely changed his physique. Photos showed a man nearly unrecognizable from his former self, defined muscles, a strong jawline, and an athlete's frame. His current leaner physique, complete with washboard abs and iron muscles, stands in surreal contrast to his former appearance and continues to stun fans every time the actor flaunts his form on social media. The shipping scale, the congestive heart failure, the man who couldn't sit in a chair without testing its strength, and now, a man with 11% body fat who lifts weights 6 days a week. If there is a more radical physical transformation in celebrity history, it has not yet been documented. Some celebrities don't just transform, they shapeshift. Miley Cyrus has made a career of this, and 2025 was no exception. The Flowers singer had fans doing a double take on Oscar night, when she stepped out at the 2025 Academy Awards looking unrecognizable with bleached eyebrows, proving that she's a bigger style chameleon than Hannah Montana. Miley then rocked microbangs to the Vanity Fair after-party. She later explained her ever-changing style, telling InStyle, "It's whatever is real in that moment." That statement, "It's whatever is real in that moment," might be the most Miley Cyrus sentence ever uttered. For a woman who went from Disney princess to wrecking ball-riding provocateur to country-tinged pop superstar, the only constant has been change itself. And at the Oscars in 2025, she proved once again that she could walk into a room and have people genuinely unsure if they were looking at her or some entirely new celebrity. The bleached brows erased the familiar anchoring features of her face. Her microbangs at the after-party created an almost alien geometry. She wasn't hiding anything, she was just being Miley, which means never being the same Miley twice. But while Miley's chameleonic tendencies are deliberate and joyful, others arriving at red carpets that same year sparked far heavier conversations. Jennifer Coolidge arrived at the 2025 Golden Globes with a vibrant, age-defying, smooth complexion that left fans feeling certain that she'd had some work done. The disappearance of natural wrinkles on the beloved Legally Blonde star's face left some worried that Coolidge might become another Hollywood victim of overdone and unnatural-looking cosmetic surgery. An industry insider remarked on Coolidge's appearance to Radar Online, saying, "She doesn't have a line in her face. It's very uncanny because of her age." Obviously, she's getting some serious help from a cosmetic surgeon. And then there was Mandy Moore, the actress and singer turned heads at the 2025 Inspiration Awards in October, with many fans speculating about possible cosmetic procedures that may have altered her natural features. Mandy is known for portraying Rebecca Pearson in This Is Us, and for starring in Nicholas Sparks' romance, A Walk to Remember. One confused fan asked, "I can't figure it out how this can be the same person. Mandy Moore was such a natural beauty. Why get work done to the point of being unrecognized?" Another echoed, "What the hell happened to Mandy Moore? Is it even the same person?" These moments, Miley's deliberate shape-shifting, Coolidge's suspiciously smooth complexion, Moore's bewildering red carpet appearance, all happened in the same year. They represent 3 entirely different pathways to the same destination, a face the public no longer recognizes. Country music star Jelly Roll has had one of the most visible weight loss journeys in recent memory. After dropping over 200 pounds in his years-long weight loss journey, the country music star underwent another major transformation when he shaved off his signature beard. "I look like a ninja turtle," he quipped in a November Instagram video. For years, Jelly Roll's beard was as much a part of his identity as his music. It was a security blanket, a defining physical trait, and as he revealed, a deliberate cover-up. "One of the reasons I even started growing a beard is I was so obese, it was just easier to cover up what was happening here." Even his wife Bunny Zoe was floored by his clean-shaven face. "I have never seen this man without his facial hair," she said in an Instagram video of her own. Think about that, a married couple and one of them has never seen the other's bare face. That is how deeply entwined the beard was with the man. Removing it was not just a grooming decision, it was an act of vulnerability from someone who had spent years hiding. Meanwhile, Amy Schumer's transformation told a far more serious story. The comedian embarked on a weight loss journey after being diagnosed with Cushing's syndrome, a hormonal condition that occurs due to a spike in the body's cortisol levels. "I didn't lose 30 pounds, I lost 50, The comedian wrote in an Instagram post, "Not to look hot, which does feel fun and temporary. I did it to survive." That word, survive, reframed the entire narrative. This was not about aesthetics. This was about a disease that was killing her. "I had a disease that makes your face extremely puffy and can kill you," she continued, explaining how online criticism over her puffy face in 2024 led her to seek medical attention. The internet caught it, and that disease has cleared. Here's the bitter irony. The same internet trolls who mocked Amy Schumer's appearance may have inadvertently saved her life. The cruelty drove her to the doctor. The doctor found the disease. The disease was treated. The weight came off, and now, standing 50 pounds lighter, she looks like a different person, not because of vanity, but because of survival. And while we're talking about staggering weight loss making someone unrecognizable, Kathy Bates, known for decades for her iconic role in Misery, recently left everyone impressed with her new look. Leaner, more youthful, and looking better than ever. She stunned at the 2025 Golden Globes with a 100-pound drop, with just 20 of those pounds lost through Ozempic. For someone who has been in the public eye for over 3 decades, the transformation was so thorough that fans who only knew her from her earlier work genuinely would not have known who they were looking at. Meg Ryan was once the most beloved face in American cinema. She was the undisputed queen of romantic comedies in the 1990s, largely thanks to her warm, natural charm and expressive face, and then she disappeared. Not entirely, she directed films, lived her life, but she stepped out of the public eye for long enough that when she returned, the disconnect was jarring. When she stepped back into the spotlight after a long break from acting, fans were startled. Her lips appeared noticeably fuller, and her facial features looked quite different from the Meg Ryan audiences remembered. In the decades following the rom-com boom of the 1990s and early 2000s, Ryan aged differently than her popular films. In fact, Ryan became nearly unrecognizable, sparking rumors of plastic surgery. Her appearance at the 96th Academy Awards brought about a new wave of criticism and speculation. Cosmetic surgeons offered their professional assessments publicly. Dr. Javad Sajan told Marca that she appeared to have undergone a lower eyelid lift, although he suspects it did not go as intended. Another plastic surgeon, Dr. Jonathan Kaplan, alluded to the consequences of filler use, saying, "When you rely too much on fillers, it results in a blown-up appearance. A more carefully executed facelift with subtle fat grafting would have achieved a more natural look." The cruelty of the public response was compounded by the warmth of who Meg Ryan once was. America's sweetheart, the girl next door, the face that defined an entire genre. Often, her changed features have rendered her unrecognizable to fans, who routinely reminisce about the natural, wide-eyed beauty she exuded in the prime of her youth. Despite the relentless chatter about her looks, Ryan has embraced her age with poise. "As an old person now, I love my age. I love where I'm at. Aging is not that terrifying," she told Glamour. That quote, "aging is not that terrifying," carries a quiet defiance. Here's a woman who has been torn apart online, dissected by surgeons she's never met, compared unfavorably to her younger self in every article written about her. And her response is peace. Not defensiveness, not anger, just peace. Meg Ryan may look different, but the grace that made audiences fall in love with her decades ago seems to have survived every procedure, every headline, and every cruel comment intact. So, celebs you wouldn't recognize. Are we talking about vanity sometimes? Are we talking about survival? Absolutely. Amy Schumer proved that. Are we talking about the crushing weight of public expectation? Just ask Jenna Ortega, who can't attend the premiere of her own show without 51 million people debating whether she surgically altered her cheekbones. Are we talking about what happens when a sport you love destroys the face you were born with? Mickey Rourke lived that reality for 3 decades. Celebrity transformations in 2025 were not just about new hair, smaller waistlines, or sharper jawlines. This year felt different. It was louder, more honest, and oddly more human. From dramatic weight loss to emotional awakenings, Hollywood went through a glow-up that had very little to do with vanity and everything to do with survival, healing, and stepping into a new chapter. What made these changes feel different in 2025 was the transparency. Gone were the vague statements about drinking more water. Celebrities are now more open about medical help, lifestyle shifts, and the mental side of transformation. Oprah talked publicly about GLP-1 medications, Kris Jenner named her surgeon. Jelly Roll explained why he'd been hiding behind a beard his entire adult life. Amy Schumer told the world she lost 50 pounds not to look good, but to stay alive. And Ethan Suplee, standing on a shipping scale at 536 pounds 2 decades ago, now posts shirtless photos with 11% body fat and tells people, "I'm just eating like a normal person." Each of these stories is wildly different. A momager who wanted a refresh, a young actress caught in a cultural firestorm over her bone structure, a heartthrob destroyed by the sport he loved, a man who was told by doctors he was dying, a singer who bleaches her eyebrows for fun, a comedian who discovered a life-threatening disease because strangers were mean about her face online. What ties them together is this: the version of each of these people that you remember it no longer exists. The face you're picturing in your head right now, the one from the movie, the TV show, the old magazine cover, it is gone. And in its place is someone new. Sometimes that someone is healthier. Sometimes they are happier. Sometimes they are neither. But in every case, you would not recognize them.